Hello, my name's Adam Wyroslawski and I'm the e-learning systems developer at the dental school. I want to talk to you today about our student study module, a collaboration between teaching staff and students which has led to the creation of a digital dentistry module we've created using the e-learning authoring software Articulate Rise. We were in a really lucky position working on this project. We had two really strong teams of students, allowing us to spread the workload and really focus in on creating a digital dentistry module covering both intra-oral scanners and the digital design process using CAD/CAM software. But before we hear from the students, I'd like to pass over to Robert, who's going to give us a little bit of a background on this project.
Thanks, Adam. I'm Robert McKerlie. I'm the lead for digital and online learning here at Glasgow Dental School. We had a staff-student partnership that was looking at the feasibility of introducing the digital workflow into our undergraduate BDS programme here in Glasgow. Two of the outcomes or the outputs from that project were, yes, we should be looking to try and integrate the digital workflow as quickly as possible and as early as possible within the BDS programme here at Glasgow. The whole idea of having students as partners ensures that the student's voice is not lost. In fact, ensures that the student voice is front and centre. In Year 5, we offer our final year students a special study module. This offers the students the opportunity to do a deep dive into a particular topic or subject. I will now pass you back to Adam, who will introduce the team and give you more detail on the co-creation partnership process. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. The first of our two teams we'll hear from were working on the intra-oral scanner section of this resource. In our initial meetings, we discussed how we would approach this and decided to create a storyboard and tie down all of the key steps from the perspective of someone with very little experience of this software. Then we'd circle back and reflect and adapt the module as we learned more, moving from a simple setup working on a desk to a dummy head and then to a clinical setting under the supervision of Grant Mathieson, a clinical senior lecturer. As you'll hear, the decision to step up the realism of the training was a consequence of trying not only to visually demonstrate important techniques to other students, but also to understand why these techniques are so useful in the future work environment, while not losing sight of the beginner's perspective.
I thought we definitely did it the right way. I think by having a go and just having some fun with it at the desk at the start, it allowed us to get
a feel for it.
Get a feeling for all of the software and what techniques work better, what don't work so well, because it gives you much more access to all of the teeth, and then once you've got a bit more of a gist for how to work it, then you can pop the models into the mouth and it replicates the clinical situation better, whether it be retracting the cheek with a mirror or your hands and just making space for the intra-oral scanner to fit into the mouth. I think that's the next step up, and those are just really good ways to take the RISE module in steps. Progressing on from there, it sort of allowed us to identify our weaknesses or areas we weren't so used to using, or areas we just weren't knowledgeable enough without prior training on the intra-oral scanner. So we obviously called in like Dr. Mathieson to help us out and gain some extra knowledge on how to use the scanners, and he was very, very helpful, gave us some great insight on how best to utilise the equipment and maximise the results. So
and even points of like pros and cons that we wouldn't have thought about, like flashback of like metal restorations and things like that. Like I never would have been thinking about how that would affect like that kind of treatment.
Yeah, so without Dr. Matheson's help and other people's input, we wouldn't have been able to have properly done the module ourselves.
Yeah, so definitely. Which is like a common theme with like lots of, like that's why we're in dental school. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many like treatments and you're learning all this theory and like trying to apply it, but like having someone that has done it in real life and knowing why you're doing what you're doing, not just like what you're doing, is like a big part of it. Knowing the why behind it and what how you're gonna apply it to real life and how it's gonna be used in your career.
I think the RISE project was definitely more fun to work through than any of the projects I've previously had experience with. On the Turas Learn or the website or anything such. Yeah. It's always just next. Whereas I feel like this had a lot more interactiveness to it. I think sitting down and working through it and filling it out has been extremely beneficial to our learning, because if it's being used as a teaching resource at the end of the day, I think if you're learning from someone, then the person teaching you obviously has to have some base or deep-rooted knowledge of the subject.
Yeah.
And I think working through the project sort of made us seriously take this into an interest and work on it hard. So I think that's one of the things which really helped. But yeah, no, it was quite fun to have a go through and also test out one another's side of the project. So I think that was a really good thing to do, just to sort of evaluate one another's performance.
I think their module was a lot harder.
Yeah, I would say that the
CAD/CAM
computer-aided manufacturing side was much harder. You know, credit to Cami and Ali, they had a much more difficult ride, I feel like, than we did.
Even like the
software was much more intricate. There was many more different buttons here, there, and everywhere for you to, alter the crown and alter the aesthetics of this and that. It was just.
Ours was much more straightforward, because that's the thing we're talking about, making things direct and straight to the point. I think we were able to do that with ours. I think we would have struggled a lot more with the CAD/CAM because there's so much more that you need to summarise.
When we first looked at it, it was a lot to take in for the first time looking at the software, because there's all these different options and different adjustments when you're looking at it. And for your first time sitting on it, you are a bit like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff here. But slowly working through it, and like you said, we got videos to help out, the sort of wee guide to it, and it was good also being able to, while doing it, being right. A third year wouldn't really need to know about this, but they might want to know about this. So obviously, being a fifth year student, I think being able to apply that knowledge was very helpful for it.
All throughout dental school, you've always just been a student, I guess. So it was nice to do something that was on the other side of that. As a student here, we've just been getting tons of teaching resources chucked at us. So it was nice to actually see what gets put into it, and you actually respect a bit more what you've been given over the past 5 years because of the time and effort it takes.
And then obviously being able to have the other two who were involved in this look through it towards the end, and obviously they came from the scanner, so they've not looked at any of this. So to be able to have them come in and look at it and then help us out, being right, this doesn't really make sense, or we went through it, this bit was a bit difficult. So being able to have that feedback to be right, okay, well obviously this bit will need a minor adjustment. And it was good to know you were sort of leaving the dental school knowing we've sort of helped out with making something. So knowing there's going to be something out there that's going to be useful for teaching the younger years, and it's going to be our names on it.
It's a unique opportunity to make a teaching resource as a student in a dental hospital where you've got technicians readily available, clinicians readily available, so many different people that can chime in and help you out with it. So you actually end up learning more from the fact that you're trying to create a teaching resource for teaching other people.
In the evolving field of dentistry, integrating CAD/CAM technologies into dental education is crucial for preparing students to meet the demands of modern clinical practice. As digital dentistry continues to transform patient care, ensuring that our students are proficient in these technologies is not just beneficial, it's essential. This project was designed to bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and hands-on experience, allowing the students to engage directly with intra-oral scanning and CAD/CAM workflows. One of the most rewarding aspects of this project has been the co-creation process. By actively involving students in the development of learning resources, we've not only deepened their understanding of digital technologies, but also ensured that the materials are relatable and tailored to future learners. The students played a pivotal role in identifying potential challenges that their peers might face, therefore making the resources more efficient and student-centred.
From a content creation perspective, it's been invaluable to have the students' ideas and feedback while working on this. It bridges the gap between the educator's experience and the experience of new students. It's given me a greater knowledge and understanding on what today's students want to see in a module and how they want to interact with it. To look more at the future and long term of this resource, it's recently been put into use with the BDS3 students, and we'll be getting some feedback from them. It's also been shared with my CDO counterpart up in Dundee University for external review and hopefully for some future collaboration with their digital dentistry modules. So on behalf of the team, I'd like to thank you all for watching our presentation, and we'd be pleased to take any questions you have. Thanks very much.